Bonjour, bonjour et bienvenue chez Parfum Prononcé. Je m'appelle Jérôme. I'm Jerome here again. It's been a while since I made a video, and man, yeah, I was just talking to my wife the other day, and she said it's been a long time since you made a video, so I figured I'd make one. And I had an idea in mind a while ago that I wanted to, subject that I wanted to talk about. And then I don't know, kind of get caught up with stuff. And then this video is going to be pretty much like unedited for the most part, because I found that the more that in trying to create these videos and be some manner of interesting and give some information or opinions or whatever, if I focus too much on trying to make it as like super good and polished or whatever, then I sort of find myself not making them as often because I realize how much work is in it. And then if I can't have that, the perfect amount of time to do it, or whatever, I just don't do it. And I would rather just put it out there and have fun with it than kind of stress over it and yeah, go at it like a profession. It's not a profession. This is just me yapping. Okay. C'est Parfum Prononcé. It's perfume pronounced. Okay. I speak French. I'm an American. I've said that before in my videos. So I can pronounce a lot of French perfumes, colognes, all that kind of good stuff. For the most part. Sometimes those native French people will spot my accent in a second, but yeah. So anyway, today, yeah, I'm going to talk about my experience with myfragrancesamples.com. I have traditionally never been a sample buyer, a decant buyer, or anything like that. I have purchased my bottles. I would blind buy it if I couldn't test it. And that's just kind of how I went about it. And sometimes you get bit, and sometimes you're like, yes, this is awesome. This hundreds of dollars that I paid for blind, paid off. I've done a video about blind buying. I think you should do it once. But yeah, I was listening to a podcast. So shout out to the I think it's just called the Cologne Podcast. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, the Cologne Podcast. But the two fellas from Texas. They're awesome, and I really enjoy listening to their stuff. So if you want like audio material to listen to a podcast, they're the only ones that are out right now that I can think of. The other one was the Scent Geeks, but they're no longer doing it. I don't think. And then there's the first and greatest of all, which is Fume Chat. You have to be a special kind of dude to listen to that, but they're hilarious. And they have so much information to share, and it's just it's for sure it's not for everybody. If you're like a super macho masculine type dude, or alpha type or whatever, maybe you're not going to want to listen to that one because it's too British gay dudes talking about perfume. But if you're not a jerk and that doesn't bother you, then you'll love it. You'll love it. I think they did 3 seasons of it, and it was the best. I learned so much from that podcast. It's Thomas Dunkley and Nick Gilbert. Thomas Dunkley is he's a copywriter. Like, he writes copy for he reviews fragrances. He has his own blog, the Candy Perfume Boy. And Nick Gilbert, I believe, he's some sort of a consultant for brands, for perfume brands or something like that. But anyway, they both come at it, and they both have a ton of knowledge. And Fume Chat, it's on Spotify and iTunes and whatnot. So I would for sure check them out. They're awesome. It's such a great listen, and it's such a hard thing to find is material like that on the platform of a podcast. It's just tough, So right now, the only thing going is for me anyway, who's listening to all the stuff, is the Cologne Podcast, and so keep it going, fellas. And they are the ones that turned me on to the topic that I'm talking about today, which is myfragrancesamples.com. Like I said, I've never been a sample or a decant buyer, but having listened to their podcast and having wanted to sample a few fragrances that I just wasn't in the mood to drive all the way down to an hour and a half away to Nordstrom's or Neiman Marcus or wherever to sample. I just said, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. These guys won't shut up about it, myfragrancesamples.com. And even through some Facebook groups and other stuff, I've heard that the gentleman that owns the company, I believe his name is Mark, is just a really solid stand-up fella. I mean, obviously, I'm just repeating what I've heard, but yeah, it seems awesome. And my experience with that company will back that up anyway. So yeah, I wanted to sample. There's some fragrances that I wanted to sample. I bought 5 mil. Yeah, I bought 5 mil samples. I believe these are 5 mils. Yeah, these aren't 10 mils. Yeah, I bought 5 mil samples, mostly Parfum de Marly, Parfums de Marly, mostly those. I think I got 4 of those and one Frédéric Malle, Vetiver Extraordinaire, Vetiver Extraordinaire, okay. I got that scent as well. So I got 5 total, 5 mil samples, and they are legit. I've smelled Layton in particular. Layton was one of the ones that I got. I had already smelled it, but in a store, but I wanted to kind of wear it, have the opportunity to wear it a couple times. But anyway, yeah, those Parfum de Marly was the ones that I wanted. I got 4 of those, 5 mil samples, and the Frédéric Malle one. And I think all out the door, shipping was free. I think I paid $120. I think it was $120. I don't know. You'll have to go on the website yourself and see how much the samples are. But let's see, 5 mil times 5 is 25 mil. That's half of a 50 mil bottle of niche perfume for around $120, something like that. That's not bad. That's not bad. So I'll talk about packaging, how it arrived first. It came in like a bubble mailer because I only had like 5, the 5 samples, and then he threw in a couple little, I want to say 1 mil samples, if that, or half a mil samples or something like that, but of some really, really cool stuff. So it came in like a bubble mailer, sort of similar to this, but plastic, so there wouldn't be like water saturation. This is just kind of a crappy example of that. And then all of the individual bottles, which I've shown, these are the 5 mil sample bottles. Right there, and I could kind of probably try to slowly get up close there so you could see it. Yeah, they came all in this little Ziploc plastic bag, and they weren't smashed in there. Okay, they were nicely, neatly arranged and like organized in there so that they all had room. So that was good. This bag with the perfume samples in it was wrapped in bubble wrap. And then that was placed in the bubble mailer. So when I got the package, really I didn't have any fears at all that any of the contents were going to be broken or anything like that. It was super solid. So kudos to them. And again, like I said, it was free shipping. So, and yeah, the ones that I got, they're all legit. Like I said, we got Vetiver Extraordinaire. We got, I'll talk about the samples that he threw in. I bought Layton. I got Greenlee. And also, I'll give you my thoughts on each one of these very, very briefly. What else did I get? Galloway and Percival. So, yeah, those were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those were the 5 that I got. They're all legit. The bottles are very solid. They're glass. Honestly, I was really gonna take marks off if the bottles were plastic. I was gonna be pissed off, and I was gonna leave a bad review. But the bottles are glass. The atomizers are excellent. They have a very wide distribution. They're not gonna shoot super far, but they do have a very wide distribution. And it's a very fine mist. None of them were leaking at all when I got the package. They're all good, well sealed. It looks like they got that kind of like, I don't know, like tape, that waterproof tape or something like that around there. And then he, screwed on the cap or whatever. So they just feel good in the hand. They're just good. It's just quality stuff. And I'm happy that this was the packaging for it. They got a little cap that goes on it, and then there's your 5 ml sample of whatever it is that you want, or whatever quantity that you buy your samples in. So yeah, the bottles were excellent. The packaging was excellent. The scents are all legitimate. I can tell. I've smelled a lot of these in store, and really just honestly wanted an occasion to, wear them a few times. And then he threw in, so I got, again, Percival, Galloway, Greenlee, Vetiver Extraordinaire, and Layton. And then he threw in, not just like garbage, like Xenia Uomo or something like that. Like he threw in legit stuff. I got this. I can't tell you how big of a bottle this is. It might be a 2 ml, but this is another Parfum de Marly, and it's Godolphin. So Godolphin, it looks like. Yeah, that's another one. And then this one, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce. It's Oat or I don't know, Oajan, Oajan, whatever that is. But again, another Parfum de Marly, at least a 2 ml bottle. And then Agarwood Noir by Amourud, something along those lines. It's pretty decent, actually. These guys right here that he threw in, and that was free. Right? So overall, excellent experience. Now I'm going to talk about the scents themselves. Percival, it smells really good. You can tell it's like in the vein of a blue fragrance, like a Bleu de Chanel. But the performance was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. I don't know if this is like a new batch or an old batch or whatever it happens to be, but the performance was atrocious. It didn't last at all. Even on clothing, it was terrible. But it smells wonderful. Galloway, another really, smelled very pretty, really enjoyed it, wouldn't pull the trigger on it, not necessarily my thing, and also I didn't find the performance to be overwhelming either. Greenlee, this was my favorite of the bunch, of the Parfum de Marly. This was my favorite. Greenlee was excellent. In my opinion, it was fresh. You had the apple with a little bit of that mentholic vibe that these fragrances have, the Parfum de Marly, that they have. It's just, it was very fresh, and I loved it. If I was going to pull the trigger on a bottle of Parfum de Marly, it would be Greenlee. I would buy a bottle of Greenlee, like 100%. I haven't tried all of the entire range, but from what I know of it, that's the one that I would buy. So this one definitely takes the cake. Although I am a teacher, and I had one student come in my room, because sometimes I go balls out and I just spray like mad, because I want to smell good and I want to fill every room of that stinky building that I work in. Anyway, I was wearing this, and I overheard a student come in and say, "It smells like a dentist office in here." It may smell like a dentist office, but it smells terrific. And then Vetiver Extraordinaire, it's just, class in a bottle. I'm wearing it right now. I put it on, and then I was like, you know what? I'll do a video about this, because I'm using one of Myfragrancesamples.com samples. It's just a great vetiver fragrance. Probably maybe a little bit overpriced, but I don't think you could go wrong with it if that's your bag. And then last one, Layton. I'm going to talk about Layton. Okay, this is the Aventus killer, the whatever, I don't know. It's like they're Layton. Everybody buys Layton. You got to have Layton, all that kind of mess. I'm going to give it its due. The performance was outstanding. It lasted all day and then some. And it projected. There was sillage. It was a banger. It's a banger of a scent. I will give it that. The performance is excellent. Would I buy it? No, it wasn't for me. In all honesty, I think it's a beautiful scent. I think it's a very nice scent. I think a lot of people love it, and I don't think it's necessarily like one of those things where, if you did have to pull the trigger on it, I think there's a high likelihood that you would be pleased with your purchase. But it wasn't for me, and it was because of that damn menthol Vicks note that permeates all of the Parfum de Marly's fragrances. It's throughout all of them. It comes off fresher in the Greenlee, which is I think why I liked it more. But in the Layton, it's very heavy, and it's very prominent, and it just smelled like freaking, like some sort of real strong menthol vibe, like Vicks type vibe. And that just didn't sit well with me. I didn't want to smell like that. But the vanilla, I believe there's got to be vanilla in it. The vanilla and the spicy aspect to it they were the beautiful characteristics of the fragrance. And like I said, it's a banger. It's a banger. It will last all day and then some. So the performance is excellent, and it is a pretty fragrance. It just wasn't for me. Because of that fact alone, that sort of mentholic aspect of it. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. My experience with myfragrancesamples.com. I think there's another company that's like, it's like myperfumesamples.com or something like that. And apparently that's like total dog crap. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know, but that's what I've heard. I've heard that is not the way to go, or that's not the company that I'm talking about. I'm talking about myfragrancesamples.com, and it's run by a fellow named Mark. I believe his last name is Mobley. But in any case, my experience was great. I will be ordering more samples. I'm not going to blind buy again, to be totally honest. Like I don't need to at this point in my collection. I'm not going to blind buy. I don't need to. Like I said, I don't need to. I don't need to take that risk anymore. I have so many fragrances that that touch on so many bases that I don't need to take a risk on something because more than likely I have something that's going to fill that spot anyway, even if I didn't buy the fragrance. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. So yeah, myfragrancesamples.com, excellent experience. I highly recommend them. And yeah, that's it. So au revoir, merci, thank you. Thank you for watching, and sorry for just the unedited nature of this video, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. So I'll see y'all again soon, hopefully. Au revoir.